when you were from a leadership perspective dealing with losing guys in comparison to when you were in World War II and you weren't necessarily in command of guys, but you're seeing people get wounded, you're seeing people get killed. What was your mindset? What was your perspective as a leader when guys were getting wounded, guys were getting killed, and then you had a bunch of, you were saying that your sergeant, they felt they were lucky to have someone that had been in combat before, and then all of a sudden I know that they were looking to you saying, okay, well, what do we do now, boss?
Well, one thing about in a tank, the crews are inside the tank, and as with the radio, you could direct people to do this and do that. And so I just told them what they should be doing. And they did it. I mean, I didn't... leadership is just telling people what they should do, and they're trained to do it, and they do it. I mean, I learned, I talked to, growing up in Iowa, leadership, I didn't even know what that was. I learned what leadership was all about at West Point. And that's the major difference. When I was in World War II, I was just taking care of myself. I wasn't really too concerned about the other guy, what was going on. We were all just doing our job. That's very different when you're in a combat situation, and you got people depending on each other. And we were all dependent upon each other when we were at a tank platoon. And each of us were trained to do a job, and they did it. I mean, one of the things, my platoon didn't exist prior to, I mean, on paper it existed. It didn't exist physically. So what happened when we were activated? The guardhouse was emptied out, and we got replacements from Fort Hood, Texas, and that was my platoon. One of the best soldiers in my platoon was my loader, who had spent most of his Army career in the guardhouse. But you can't believe what a great soldier he was in combat. I mean, because he knew what he was doing, and he was trained to do it, and he did it. I will never forget those young men. I mean, I'm still in email contact with my former gunner, who's now retired as a command sergeant major, but he still calls me lieutenant. Because he kept my ass out of trouble, I'll tell you that. I mean, he taught me more about how to be a platoon leader than anybody will ever understand. And I guess the leadership training I had at West Point, combined with what these young men were teaching me, allowed me to become a pretty effective leader throughout not just my military career, but my commercial career too. I'm a strong believer in that leadership works, not just in the military, but in commercial business.
Yeah.